Hello, in this video we are going to be spraying a telecaster. This is a commission build, my friend Tom, and Tom has requested a see-through blonde relic finish, so we're going to be doing a bit of light relicing on this one. This is a a swamp ash body here, one piece, which we're going to be spraying white, or see-through white rather, and then we're going to be clear coating it, and then we're going to be doing a bit of relicing once we've done level sanding and buffing. And we've also got a flamed roasted maple neck here and a rosewood fretboard. And if you enjoy this content, then please press the like button. That's the best way to support the channel. Thank you very much. Now, before we dive into the spraying, I just wanted to say that I've actually already grain filled all of the wood here, and I've used Nitorlack Natural for the swamp ash. I really like this filler for swamp ash because the natural stuff, it sands really easily, and the other thing is it leaves quite a nice sort of like just off-white colour in the grain, which I think works really nicely, especially if you're doing like a see-through finish. The other thing is I have grain filled the edge of the rosewood here. If you've ever sprayed a neck with a rosewood fretboard, you will probably find that there is a lot of open grain along the side here on a quarter sawn rosewood board, and it takes quite a lot of lacquer to actually fill that. So by grain filling it first, I'm saving myself quite a few coats. I've also grain filled this little area in here as well. I did all that before the nut went in. So this is now ready to get sprayed. So I'm just mixing up a bit of Nitorlack primer here, and I'm going to thin that down a bit with some thinners. And the reason I'm spraying a primer first is because I want to get some coats of that on and get it as level as I can before I spray the colour. And the reason for that is if you're spraying a shader and you end up sanding through it all, you know that you pretty much have to strip it all off and do it again. So if I get the finish as level as I can before I spray the colour, that reduces the amount of levelling I have to do after the colour. So I've mixed that probably, what's that, 60-40, something like that. And I've used some Nitorlack paint thinner, and this is a little bit of anti-bloom thinners as well. So we're in a very humid environment, so the anti-bloom thinners just helps to slow down the flashing off time slightly and mitigate any hazing in the paint, you know, where it goes kind of milky coloured, which we don't want. And that's actually still too thick, so I'm going to add a bit more. The other thing is the increasing the flash off time of the paint will also help to reduce orange peel as well. Orange peel is effectively where the paint goes on dry, and it dries as soon as it hits the surface, and it doesn't have an opportunity to level out at all. So that's when we get orange peel. So the other thing is, if you spray your paint too thin, or if you put too much paint on, you're more likely to get runs. So you could get more runs using a retarder thinners like this. I think that'll be all right now. So I'll put this in the gun. So I've just got it hanging from a hook like I normally do, with the addition of this little stick to help me hold the thing. For the neck here, I've got a hook in one of the holes here, and the other thing I've got is a little bit of tissue stuffed in the truss rod access there, so I don't fill that with paint and make it unusable. And now I'm going to get a few coats of primer on. So this had a few coats of primer yesterday, and I'm just going to give it a bit of a scuff sand now. I've got a 400 grit pad, one of these, well, that says 240 but 400 Nitorlack pads here on a backing, and I'm just going to knock it all back a bit, denib. If there's any lower spots where the grain isn't filled properly, it will just help to reduce those slightly. So, this shouldn't take long. I want to avoid going through the primer. If I do, then I'll have to put another coat on before I spray the colour. This is looking okay though, I think. Just want to make sure I've got a surface that's as level as it can be before I put the colour on. That way I don't have to put quite so many clear coats on top. So I've just mixed up some, it's called Age Vintage White from Northwest Guitars, which just is a, I suppose it's a slightly yellowed white nitro, and I've just added a few drops of honey leather dye to it, just to give it a ever so slightly more of a amber. So I've got that mixed up in my spray gun. I've got it mixed really, really thin because I just want to sort of do a light mist of colour over it and gradually creep up, because we want to keep the colour transparent. If the colour's not really thin, then we'll get like streaks of sort of like solid white, which we don't want. We just want an even mist of colour all over this. So the primer's been sanded back. It's fairly level. It's not perfectly level, particularly this like crown figure area. You always find that with swamp ash. Sort of this stuff takes way more filling than the rest of it, but it's fine because I'm going to build up the clear coats afterwards. So we shall get some white on it now. I'm going to blow all the dust off first. Let's go.
I think that might be white enough. I know if you look at Fender custom shops, they tend to go quite a bit more opaque on the sides, but to be honest, I like that. That's pretty much hidden all those like little sort of mineral lines. There's one there, which is barely visible now, and there's one at the back too. But I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that.
So I've got some Golden Age gloss in the gun. I've got that mixed about 2 to 1 with cellulose thinners, and then I added a couple of splashes of anti-bloom thinners as well. And now I'm going to get some clear coats on. So the body and the neck have had 6 coats of clear, and I'm just giving everything a bit of an interim level sand now. This is just a bit of 400 grit. I'm just getting this area nice and level so I can put a decal on, and then I shall probably spray another 6 coats, and that should be enough to blend it all in. So I've got my water slide decal here, and this is just inkjet decal paper which I've printed, and I've sprayed probably 6 coats of sanding sealer over this, just light mist coats, as if we're sealing the dye on the top, so I don't want the colour to bleed. Hopefully it doesn't. And I'm hoping that that's going to come off there nicely with no bleed. I need some tissue paper. That's just starting to peel off now. Come on. And I shall leave that to dry naturally before I clear coat some more over the top. And then finally I'm just going to write the number on the back. This is a Deco colour pen, I've mentioned these before. And this is number 40. It's 2024 and it's for Tom. And that G looks a bit shit, so I'm going to do that again. If you're anything like me, and you basically have the handwriting of a 6-year-old, then just get some white spirit. And you can wipe it straight off again, look. No harm, no foul. Make sure it's dry. And we'll try again. G. There we go. So this wants, I tend to leave it overnight, let this dry fully, and obviously the decal too, and then we'll just clear coat over it. So I'm probably going to spray, well, I need to give this lot over here a bit more of a level sand. I'll just give that a scuff with a 1000 grit. This is all pretty level, to be honest. I just wanted to get this bit, and for the decal, perfectly level. That's why I used 400. So that when I spray over that, I've got next to no levelling work to do. So I'll just give this all a bit of a scuff with 1000, and then I'll give this and the body another 6 coats, and then we should be ready to leave it until we are ready to do a final little level and buff. So we're going to leave this for a few weeks now to let the lacquer harden off properly, and then I shall do a final level sand, sand it up to about like 2000 grit, and then buff the thing. It's all up together just so that I can just have it hanging from the ceiling, and I'm not going to worry about it getting knocked about. Tom originally wanted me to do a relic finish, so you know, taking the paint off the edges and knocking it about, a few scratches and things, but he's since changed his mind and he just wants me to do an aged finish. So I'll show you how we age the parts, and then also how I check the finish as well. So we'll do that and probably assemble it in the next video. If you are not subscribed to the channel, then I recommend you do, and you'll get a notification when this next video comes out, which will be the final part of the telecaster finish. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, see you next time.